everyone, and welcome to the first webinar of 2019. It's January the 5th, 2019, and today, channeling for us, we have Jim Charles for the Hucolo Saturday webinar. Hi, Jim. How's it going?
Very good. How are you?
Yes,
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year. Yeah, we saw you on the, everyone probably saw you on the channel panel, so that was really great. You had a beautiful message there. It was good to see you.
Thanks. You were great, too.
Thank you. So we're going to start with blessings, or we'll start on your side. We'll start with Barbara.
Barbara?
Yeah.
Okay. Looking in, we see we do not know what will happen in your new year, but we pray for peace and tranquility, love and honor. We pray that the things of the governments will calm down, although it does not look like this will happen very soon. We also pray that your spirituality rises and that you become the light in the world that you should be. Much love. Much love.
Okay, I just want to check and make sure everybody's muted because I'm hearing some feedback. Let me just see. Okay. All right, great. So, so I just want to share a song. Probably most of you know that I study mantra and Sanskrit, and that I'm really a bhakti yogi, which means that it's about devotion and love and sharing. And I've had an amazing last year of doing a lot of that study. And what started to happen now is I just get songs that are coming through with the mantra. And my deity is Ganesha, who you might see behind there. And Ganesha is the remover of obstacles, but it's also the tradition within Hinduism that before you start any endeavor, whether it's to do a sharing like we're doing today at the webinar, or to pray, or to do a ritual or anything, you always start with Ganesha, and that's based on his tradition. So this is a bhajan, which is a song, a devotional song for Ganesha that came to me this week. And it's just very beautiful, and you can maybe just sit down and close your eyes as we sort of ask for the webinar to go well, for the blessings for everyone. And yeah, I just hope you like it. So. Om Ganapataye Namaha. Om Ganapataye Namaha. Om Ganapataye Namaha. Vigneshwaram Pajure Manasa Vignaharam Pajure. Om Ganapataye Namaha. Om Ganapataye. Om Ganapataye Namaha. Om Ganapataye Namaha.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Much love, everyone.
Thank you.
Is there any more blessings? Oh, Angie's going to do a blessing.
Okay, perfect.
And then I'm going to do announcements after that.
Yes.
mu to wa I ano nu a ni to u ya ni a ku ya ta is gonna mu is alani mi to ko ia ma ni putu o ameni wale ni mi to ko sana no tu I aname ko tu o pakana tu I no ito aname yo to ko ia to ku ina askamano ko.
There are blessings coming your way, and many are falling on you now. Let these times, this new year, this new beginning, bring you a greater amount of energy so that you may do your missions. You may shine your light and may be the example to the world that you are meant to be. May you also find peace and tranquility in your travels and in your life. Let your days be short, but full and energetic. May your love be full and peaceful. To all of you, we wish only the greatest and good.
Thank you. Perfect. So you have some announcements, I believe.
Yes, the Galactic Energy Healing Teachers class will be next weekend from 4 to 7?
4 to 7.
On Saturday and Sunday, the 12th and the 13th. We do have some people from Australia area joining us, so we made the hour from 4 to 7.
And Japan.
And Japan. There's someone from Japan. All right. And so that's 4 to 7 Eastern Standard Time. And it will be 2 days, 3 hours each day.
$111.
And the price is $111 for the 2 days. And it's going to be, for those of you who have already taken the Galactic Energy Healing class, the spirals and non-spirals, it's going to be very good for you to do a refresher, know the symbols, and learn the attunements. There will be a manual that accompanies this so that you can learn better and refer to it whenever there is a need for that. So much love to you all. And is there any other announcements?
Yes, just to announce that on Fridays, Ian, if you're there, you can do the announcements.
Okay. This is Ian, the host of the weekly channeling practice group through Hucolo, and it's a group where would-be channelers and channelers get together where we can practice the technique and learn from each other. The group is on Facebook under Hucolo Channeling Practice Group. We meet every Friday at 4:30 Eastern Time on Zoom. So if you're interested in that, just ask to join the group on Facebook. Again, it's Hucolo Channeling Practice Group.
Perfect. Thanks, Ian. And then also just to remind everyone, this is a paid webinar for the members of the Club Hucolo. If you would like to support Hucolo, you can go to hucolo.org/webinars. And then for $10 a month, you have direct access to all of our announcements first, but also to be here in the paid webinars. So that is your contribution, helping us keeping everything going. And thank you to everyone who is a supporter of Human Colony. Also on Amazon.com, you can buy the book From the Galaxy with Love, a Lightworkers Handbook, and it's written by Max Rempel and Jim Charles, and it's a complete overview of the philosophy behind all of the channelings Jim is doing, everything about the galaxy you ever wanted to know, and a lot of tips and information to inform you as you start to awaken. And that's available as an ebook, as a auditory book, and also as a printed book. So you can find that on Amazon.com.
It's also on Kindle as an audiobook, and it's also on Amazon as an audiobook. This audio version seems to be doing really, really well. So,
nice.
The hardback is doing all right, but the audio is doing real well. So
perfect. And for the last thing, if you haven't subscribed to us on the subscribe button, please hit like and also subscribe on the channel here on YouTube. That just helps us get our ranking up so more people can find our videos. So, okay, much love. And going forward, we have some requests. I will read them back. You probably memorized them, but there's Grindel, Elijah, Takur, Roha, the draconian teenager, and also Horus I have.
Anubis is also.
And Anubis. Thank you. Yeah, Anubis.
And anybody else have any requests for people? The queen, what was the queen's name?
I don't know.
The Gnostic queen.
The Gnostic queen, right.
From Crete.
Okay.
So.
There you go. Thank you.
Someone maybe from the sun.
Somebody from the sun. The sun has channeled through before, yes.
Yeah. Well, we'll be interested to see. You should. Probably none of those people will show up. It's gonna be Ish. It's gonna be Ish. That's my guess.
Well, Ish is always around, so that is one person.
Say that you did not mention
the guardian of the moon.
Oh. Angie said we didn't mention how to sign up for the class.
Sorry. How do you sign up for the class?
Send an email to me.
Give your email.
aspeed6456@gmail.com.
No one
Did you get that?
No.
Okay. aspeed6456@gmail.com. I will send all you send me an email. I'll get the information out to you how to send the payment.
Okay, and for those of you that missed it, slow it down in the replay and you'll find it again. Speak so fast. Speed 6456.
Okay.
gmail.com. Okay.
Yes, it's aspeed6456.
At Gmail. Okay.
All righty.
All right. We're ready when you're ready.
All right, I'm going to do a meditation, and whoever comes first. Stephanie, you trying to say something?
No, we just have, she keeps logging in. We keep having to mute her. But there we go. We got it. All right.
Okay. Very good.
Perfect.
Greetings. I am Elijah. Welcome to the new year.
Welcome.
I am going to be very brief. Today's topic is about new beginnings. And since this is the beginning of the year, it is a fitting subject. And I just want you to know that some of you have difficulty with starting. You don't know how to start, where to start, or what to start. Some of you know that you have missions. Some of you know that you are to be helping with the ascension process or the light in the world, but you have no idea what it is that you are to do or how to start it. My suggestions to you are these. First of all, you must find your highest excitement and know that God is with you for that highest excitement. But before you even think about that, you must know yourself and build yourself. Build the light within you. Build the love within you, because you are to be yourself when you do this project. You must have the idea that you know who you are and you are confident that you can move forward. This is the first thing that most people should do before starting any project, starting any mission, starting anything, is to know thyself. Bring in God's understanding, bring in the thoughts that are there for you, and remember this: God created you. He created the soul, and he put much creativity and originality in you. Oh, yes, you may say I'm just an ordinary person. Everybody in the world is much like me, but that is not necessarily true. When you learn who you really are, there will be uniquenesses about your personality, uniquenesses about how you present yourself, and there will be things in you that are not in others. And even when you look at those that channel, those that are doing readings, those that are doing all these kinds of things, are they not all different? Do they not all have their own unique style and presentation? Of course they do. So remember to learn who you are before you go out and try to shine a light that may not be fully formed. You might be out there flickering, and you don't want to be doing that. You want to be steadfast and courageous and know who you are. So that is the beginning of all, is to know thyself. Bring in God's beautiful wisdom and understanding from whatever realms of prayer that you use or meditation. There is not one way to do it, but everyone has a perception of God. Everyone has a perception of how he works. Try to clarify that within yourself, because look at all the different religions around the world, the Buddhists, the Islams, the Christians, the Confucianisms, all the different realms of thought that there are. Is one of them more right than the other? Some may think so, but remember that they are all an aspect of what God wants you to know about himself. And some of those aspects may fit better from Krishna and Ganesh, and some of them may fit better from Jesus or the Holy Spirit, or some of them may fit better from Mohammed or Buddha. These ideas do not all come in one package, but there are so many personalities around the world, and that is why there are so many different kinds of spiritual avenues to pursue. It is not that one is more right than the other, but one might be more right for you than another. Remember to find your joy, find happiness, and find the peace and contentment in God, so that you may actually grow and find yourself through that process. That is all I had to say for today. But if there is a question, I will take it. But please, there are others that are coming. Make it important.
I don't have any questions on my part, unless someone puts the quick thing in. Anyone?
Very well.
Okay.
Very well. I will move on, because I think it was sort of self-explanatory that you must know yourself before you can help others, really. You must know yourself before you can help others.
Thank you.
And there are those that are helping others by healing and things that may not have a full understanding of who they are, but the healing energy is there and is helpful to others. But if they are going to become a healer as a profession, know thyself before you step into a professional role. Much love to all of you, and have a wonderful new year. Grow,
Happy New Year to you.
and be the example that you are to be.
Thank you. Much love.
Much love, and may God be with you. someone called for Gnostic Queen.
Yes.
There are many of us from that realm. Which one did you want to speak to?
Go ahead, hon.
Good morning.
Good morning.
If there's a priestess that the throne was built for.
The throne was built for anyone who would succeed from it.
Okay.
But it was originally built before there was any priestess or priest. The throne was there to signify and to be a symbol of the things to come. And then the first that was there was Pleiadians.
But it wasn't
Pleiadians was soon after. The first did not last long. The one that you speak of is with me now.
Okay. Could she just share what life was like then? And it feels like what we're going through right now is very parallel to what happened at that time.
It was a very tumultuous place at that time. There was those that would wish to invade. There was those that would wish to take over. But the thought processes were strong, and we were a very strong peoples. We had a great deal of pride in what we were doing, but we were a very intellectual group as well, which sometimes was our downfall, because we, instead of bringing in a thought about spirit, which we know now to be the right thing to do, we used calculations and intellect to rule our way of thinkings, our way of doings. And so therefore, as we moved forward, it was not beneficial to have pure thought and pure understanding for what we were to do. So it did fall, but it was a full kingdom. It was a full time for a while. And we did rule for many hundreds, actually. I think it was a couple hundred years.
Oh, is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
What questions do you have?
Were ETs and humans hybridizing?
They did not call themselves extraterrestrials or aliens, but they were from above. The beings from above we thought were godlike, and they did help us with our understandings. But they did also warn us that we needed more spirituality in what we were doing. However, they were supportive of all the things that we were doing. They did come to admonish us, if you will, and now and then. But and we listened hesitantly, but we were who we were as a people, and it was started many years before they arrived. And so as they arrived to give us instructions, we were not sure exactly who they were or why they were coming to bring us this information, but realized that they were beyond our understanding and greater beings than we.
And my last question is, did the dolphins fly back then?
The dolphins had some abilities to fly, not for great distances, but they had a small, they could lift into the air and move 100 yards or so before they came back into the water. It was a beautiful sight, for many of them were in the air at one time, at least at that area. This is not true of all the dolphins on the planet, but these ones were those that were from extraterrestrial beginnings.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
You are welcome. Are there any questions?
Yes.
Yes.
What would be an example what would be an example of having more spirituality as opposed to the intellect?
You see, we drew everything from our intellect because it was actually the beginning of the Illuminati thought process. Because the Illuminati draws on science and all these things. We saw later that that began from the same thought processes that we had originally. But spirituality was depending on that outside of our own selves. We were self-contained and thought that God was pure intellect. And when we saw that God was more than the pure intellect, that he was love, goodness, kindness, and other things, then the negativity slowed down and started to become less valid in our culture. There was a lot of negativity having intellect as your first go-to option. So the negativity was strong in some places, and torture and murder were very high in our realms, but slowed down as the information of spirituality became greater to us. But we understood at some point that what was happening was a change and that it needed to happen. Those of us that were priestesses and priests were those that had intellectual superiority and were there to be wise in a way that love was not wise. And so we had to show our wisdom in a purely different aspect. So we did that. It is hard to explain. That is a whole day of reasoning unto itself. But we were, in a way, open and hungry for newness in our understandings. Because pure intellect and pure reasonings and pure wisdom leaves a much to be desired. The love aspect was then building within us, and we understood that there was passion and love, and that these things did exist, but we did not give it much credence, except for to expand the population. But now it is a different understanding as time moved on.
There's some questions in from the chat, if there's no other questions in the room.
Yes.
Okay. Ecclesiastes 88:8 wants to know what percentage of light beings on the planet came from the great central sun. I don't know if that's something you can answer.
It is different at different times. The great sun gives us many, and then sometimes fewer. But right now there are many from the central sun here, for the light is necessary to be raised. So those are kind of beings that can actually help with the raising of the light on this world. So you may have more now than in past decades.
All right. There's a follow-up question also from Ecclesiastes that says, can you please explain the Gnostic key?
The Gnostic what?
Key.
The key. I am not sure I understand. Is this something that has happened, that has been passed down, that was said to be part of our heritage?
I don't know. Maybe he can clarify.
Please clarify the Gnostic key.
Okay. All right. And then just while we're waiting for that, Peter wants to say that you mentioned the Illuminati. Can you please give us the history of the Illuminati?
The Illuminati started in the Italian Roman area, I believe, but it was built of philosophers, scientists, intellects, authors, of those people that were intellectually superior to the average human. The idea behind it was to find a way to present themselves to the world, to actually bring a world domination through this kind of thought processes instead of spirituality. Spirituality was not looked at as a proper function. They saw that the intellect could explain all things, where spirituality was to them only a rumor or only feelings, and they did not see that spirituality was helpful to the people. So they wanted to bring intellect, understanding, and wisdom through intelligence to all the people. That was the beginnings of the Illuminati. And so therefore they were against the church. They were against those in power that were spiritually oriented. They saw them as a detriment to the people. They saw them as poisoning the minds of the people. And so they were actually hostile towards the churches and toward those that were not intellectually oriented and believed the same way that they did. They were a secret society, and they were working in a secret way, but their thought process was to eventually become the rulers. But first, they must take out the thoughts of religion, the thoughts of spirituality, the thoughts of that God were important, so that they could rule in with intellect and science.
Thank you for that. The clarification on the Gnostic star is the 8-pointed star.
The 8-pointed star?
Yes.
There are many things about the 8-pointed star. It has the 8 different planets that we knew of at the time. It had the 8 central stars. It had the 8 central belief systems. There are many things that it represented to us. The 8 thoughts of wisdom. It is a wonderful key, and I do not believe all the information about it has ever been passed through. It would be something for you to understand that we spoke to it, but not as a god, but we used it as a guide in some ways to bring us through certain problems and famines and different things of that nature. It was more intellectual than spiritual.
All right, thank you very much. That's the only question that we have so far.
I heard a voice say to me that they thought the Illuminati started in Germany.
That's in the chat, yes.
There was German beginnings also. The meetings were first in the Italian areas, but they were members of the Illuminati all over Europe. And there were some very strong German influences there. But there were some also very, the word Illuminati is actually from Latin, I believe.
Yes,
which
it
was
means
the
light.
basis of the Italian language.
Yes,
And I believe they met close to religious institutions such as the Vatican, so that they could plan and think about the ways they could infiltrate.
Okay. All right, that's what we have so on our side. Unless there's something on your side. I believe we're finished with this line of questioning.
Let us move on. There are others to be listened to. One moment. I am Horus.
Welcome, Horace. Thank you.
I heard my name mentioned, but it is timely that I should come.
Okay, Ishmael requested you, so he can take the first question if he has one.
Greetings.
Hello, Horus.
Greetings.
Did you have any relationship when you were here incarnated in Earth with the blue Avians?
Yes, there were connections with aliens during my time.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you this. You can see by the, what are they called? Hieroglyphics on the sides of the pyramids that there were aliens among us. There were bird aliens, which were the blue avians. There were dog aliens, the canine species. There were others as well. Some did not show themselves to the people, but were still beneficial. We had many meetings through the Egyptian eras. The pyramids were great transporter machines. They had many functions, actually. We could use them for communication, transportation, refueling, energy. They were very helpful and made so they could be multifunctional.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And is there any connection with me?
You have connections with
Horus?
With Horus, myself, yes.
Yes.
You already feel that, and you already sense it. You were around me in a very close way, but I cannot put my finger on it at this moment. The distance is too strong.
Thank you very much, Horus.
You are welcome. Is
Thank
there
you.
another question?
Yes, Shira has a question and then Lila.
Greetings, Horus. How are you?
I am well.
I want to ask you, I saw several hieroglyphics, and there's one of you holding an ankh in one hand and raising the other, and in front of you there's Anubis doing the same thing. And
holding a what?
An ankh. It's like a cross, but also
yes,
looking on the top.
An ankh, yes. I just did not hear you say it.
Yes, so there's an illustration of you and Anubis standing in front of each other, holding an ankh in one hand and raising the other hand.
Yes, the ankh originally was a transporter device. We did transport out of Egypt to other realms, mostly Orion areas, but there were other areas that we could go to. We did have galactic meetings in Egypt area. There were a lot of, there was technology, but it was hidden from the people, except for the crystals on top of the pyramids and the crystal on top of the sphinxes. They shone a great light, and the people were amazed by that, but they did not see all the rest of the technology that was around. We did not want them to see that, but they could see that there was something happening with the crystals. That they could see the transporting, but they did not know what it was actually.
Were you in a blue avian when you were here on Earth?
Yes, I was part of the blue avian culture.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for coming.
You are welcome.
Leila, go ahead. Thanks.
A blessing, Horus. Can you access? Can you access my energy, because I would like to ask in connection to Gaia.
Your energy, yes.
Okay.
What would you like to know?
You know, I am pulled more and more seriously to the U.S. military. And can you tell me maybe what is my connection to the U.S. military? And on January 1st, I did meditation healing collective for U.S. military, and would like to know if went well, the healing, and if I should continue, or if something like major important.
It is necessary for prayer and healing to go out to the militaries of all countries, because they are in a very frustrated state at the moment. There are rumors of wars at this time, and rumors of infiltrations and spies and many things that are very uncommon. Not that they haven't experienced these things before, but they're so much more numerous at this time. And so sending out healing and prayer to this area is good. And we need you to do so. Is there someone speaking? Very well.
Can you access, please, their meditation if I anything did we anything achieve? Because I do work with a group. Did we?
You did achieve. All prayer makes an achievement of some sort.
Okay.
So your prayer and healing did make some impression. Continue to do so that the impression grows. There are those that are very open and accepting of prayer and of the healing. There are others that are closed, but you have affected those that are open.
Well, do I have any karma with U.S. military from the past?
The karma that you have is that you see they need it. That is the same karma that you have with reptilians, insectoids, and other beings that are not like yourself. You see that you have connections to them through healing and prayer. And you are the one that will pray for those that are left out in the healing and prayer circles. That is your mission.
And God bless you for this wonderful revelation, because that's how I feel too. And I love you, Horus, and may you fly high.
Thank you.
May
you also fly high. Continue.
You're muted, Karen.
We have a question from Reinhardt.
Greetings.
Greetings, Horus. I have a question. Can you read my energy? And if yes, do you remember it?
Yes, I can read your energy, and I do remember it.
Thank you very much.
Is there another question?
Well,
yes.
It's all. Thank you.
Very well.
There's a question from the, do you have a question in your room? There's also a question from the chat.
Yes.
What is the question in the room?
The question is continuing from Peter asking about the Illuminati. He wanted to know if they were a continuation of, or if they were also in Atlantis, basically.
There was something similar to the Illuminati in Atlantis, but there was a more spiritual aspect to Atlantis than what the Illuminati would have been representing. There was a very intellectual section to the Atlantean culture, but it was attached with spirit as well, because they knew also about spirit and those things. They had priests and priestesses, and they did do prayer and accept the spirits that were there. Now, they were also very intellectual at the same time and believed in a lot of science and things of this nature, but it was not their whole understanding. So the Illuminati's ideas were not complete in the Atlantis area.
Okay, and then also there was a question about what are the meaning of the obelisks?
The obelisks were...
Obelisks, thank you.
The obelisks were actually the place where the power centers were. If there is an obelisk, usually that's where it was a power center. Usually there were crystals on it. It was usually where you did earth-to-earth contact communication, meaning that they would send out signals from the obelisk to another obelisk, so that they could let them know if someone was coming, to let them communicate. There was obelisks in the Machu Picchu area. There's obelisks in all areas where there was alien interaction on the planet, and they were power centers or communication centers.
Okay, thank you. That's all the...
There is something in the room here.
Okay, go ahead.
Hores, the only language that I can speak and hear is with understanding. I actually get interpretation. Is that because there's a connection between you and I?
There's always been a connection, and you know that. And that is why the connection is strong. Remember who your spirit guides have been. How can you doubt that there was any connection?
Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
Has psychedelics, natural psychedelics, played a role in your culture?
Natural psychedelics have played roles in many cultures for spiritual reasonings and for also pleasurable reasonings. Now, in the day when I was there, psychedelics were not that common. There was some in the area, but we used more of technology to have our pleasure. Our psychedelic trips were more brought on by electronic and spatial, I don't know how to say it, spatial problems. We could create that within ourselves, and it was like having a trip. So it was an anomaly kind of thing within us. And so therefore, it was more technology with us because we had that ability. And there was not that much growing around in the Egyptian area since it was more desert. There were some psychedelics that did grow there, but the people were more aware of those than we were.
Okay, there's a question in the chat again about Peter asking, how can I get rid of my negativity from my uncle Set back in ancient Egypt when I defeated him?
As you have gone to the Oversoul at some time, your negativity should have been removed there. But when you come back to any dimension or any culture. It returns because it has not been forgiven within that density. So in the density, you will have to do a past life regression and then have it removed from there. Either that, or you must understand that these energies of negativities can be released, but you must find someone that can help you release it, because releasing it on your own from that era, it's been with you a long time. So you may need help with the release of that. Like I said, you should have a regression, see what actually caused all this, see the exact circumstances, have it forgiven, and forgive everyone involved in it, and then it will forgive all the generations beyond that.
Okay, thank you. Sheer, Sheer, you don't have a question anymore?
Well, you start to speak about psychedelics, and that is kind of an interesting thing. When you say that you use the electronics to stimulate your brain, or things that were already inside of you to stimulate a trip, do you mean like the same way that you use ayahuasca to stop the consumption of the spirit molecule that we call DMT and stuff of that kind?
Well, no, there are safe ways to create vortexes within the brain. And these small vortexes in the certain parts of the brain can cause hallucinations. And that is what we would do. And also can cause, in some ways, lighter forms of enjoyment and pleasure. So we could do it electronically. And we know how to do that, knowing that we had a greater understanding of the brain, a greater knowledge of how to do things with the brain safely. Now, your people still do not understand the brain and are at a loss because there are energies in the brain that are still not recognized. God has many, many different kinds of energies that he creates with. And some of them are very subtle. And some of them are very, they have nuances that you have not discovered yet. And so when creating human beings and species and all these things, he uses all these energies. And because you do not know of some of these energies, you cannot figure out how the brain works in these, in some very interesting ways. So we, having discovered many of those energies and nuances, could manipulate the brain in very positive and pleasurable ways as well. So we could also do renewal of the bodies in certain ways by manipulating DNA functions. So we were advanced in that way, where you are not quite advanced yet, but you are studying and learning about it, but you still have not discovered the energies that attach certain parts of the brain to other parts of the brain.
I see. Thank you very much.
Yes, there are certain things in quantum science that are not understood yet. And that is because the energies that connect these quantum energies is not able to be measured or found, but yet they are there. And it would just appear like two objects are acting exactly the same from great distances without any connection, but there is energetic connections. Are some of you aware of what I'm speaking of?
Yes.
Yes. What's this?
A Stargate?
Well, yes, but there are certain quantum understandings that there's attachments between these molecules here, if this molecule, if you were to spin this molecule, and no matter where you put its adjacent molecule millions of miles away, it would also spin.
Right. Yes.
Do you understand that?
I do.
There is a certain energy that connects them. What is that energy? They have not really discovered exactly what that is, and they need to know that.
Actually, I have another question about the blue avians. I do know that blue avians have one of the strongest telepathic abilities, that they actually can send one another an entire film even. And do you know where I'm going with that? Like,
well, yes. You want to know how, if we actually did have that? Yes. There was telepathic ability that we could send a module of information, sort of like a download that you would call, into somebody else's mind and have them see what we are thinking about in an animated form. Yes. And sometimes these animated forms could last for up to a few minutes. It was a strong kind of telepathy, yes.
is that because of how the autonomy of your brain as a blue avian, or because your ability, the psychic ability, was that much advanced? Because I do know that your brain, the blue avians, have different things from our brain, mostly from the psychic.
It's about how we evolved as a species, actually, because as we evolved as a species, you see, we were bird-like, and bird-like does have strong visual attachments. And as we grew as a species with strong visual attachments, our vision was much stronger than other species. And when it came time to develop a telepathy of sorts, it was a very visual telepathy. It was more visual than it was verbal. And when we send our telepathy out, it's very visual, but we also had language attached to it, of course, because there was need for a language. There was a need for outward communication as evolution went forward. But we spoke in visual terms. If you understand, we had a very high acuity for vision, and so when we spoke to one another, it was always about how we saw something, the intricacies of the vision that we had. So as we developed our telepathy, it became very visual, and we were able to send it as a sequence of visual understanding.
I see. Also, a question for a friend of mine. He used to see members of blue avians that would come to visit him. He would see them in a human shape, but they will like do different hand signs and stuff like that. And yeah, he was in the beginning kind of freaked out about it, and he asked them to stop coming to him. But lately, he's been more open to that idea and to be revisited by blue avians. Is there something that he can do that blue avians will pick up on it, like a mantra, or do something that something would just, you know?
Well, let me explain why they were coming to him and giving him hand signals. The galactic language, the language that is taught in the galaxy for all the different species to learn, has a hand language that goes with it, because there are certain species that are only telepathic and cannot speak, and there are certain species that do not have any telepathy at all, and so they cannot speak. So a sign language is necessary for those two kinds of species to communicate. Those that are completely telepathic and those that are not telepathic at all. So this sign language they were using on him because they figured he might know the galactic language, since he was not at all telepathic. First of all, that is a compliment to him that they have come. And also he can get back in touch with him by calling them and by using some of any kind of hand signals necessary, because when hand signals are used, they have an energy of their own that Pleiadians can pick up on. Hand signals are a very powerful way of communication, and we had very strong ties with the galaxy because of these hand signals. We were completely telepathic at some point. I mean, just recently, within the last 200 years, we have become completely telepathic. And so therefore, these hand signals mean a lot to us, so that we can actually communicate with people like yourself and come through beings like this, so that we can actually communicate with what are they called? Translators that will give you understanding of what we think and who we are.
Okay, so I will just tell him to start doing the hand signs and just go with that, and hopefully he will pick up something.
If he did not offend them too badly, they will be back around.
Okay, I'll sure tell him. Thank you.
You are welcome. If there is a reason why they are coming around him, he may have some Pleiadian in his background, or he might be someone that they need for some kind of information transfer to your planet.
Yeah, it's all of what you just said. So, yeah.
Very well.
I have another question.
There is another question in the room.
Do you currently have communication with the Pleiadians that are in our system right now?
I am a Pleiadian, so yes.
Is there anything that you can share right now about the transfer of ownership
of the solar? Oh, no. What you're talking about is we used to be the guardians of your solar system.
Correct.
We used to leave people in and out of your solar system because that was our job at one point. We no longer have that job. It has been taken over by seventh dimensional beings, which is fine with us. Seventh dimensional beings are even a higher dimension than we. But we used to be the guardians of your solar system and let in those that are positive and leave out those that needed to go out, so that there would be a balance in the solar system, that there was not too many from outside your solar system in the solar system. So we do not do that any longer. We have other things that we must attend to. So the seventh dimensional beings are now doing that job.
When did this happen?
Just recently, within the last couple years.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
I have a question.
There is another question in the room.
Hi, Hores Barbara.
Greetings.
Greetings. What is my connection with reptilians? And I'm talking about the good and the bad reptilians.
You have great connections through spirit coasts,
yes,
of course, but you also have universal ties through past lives.
Okay.
So that is all I can tell you at the moment. Spirit coasts will tell you more about that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. We have a question from Lila.
Blessing again. Are Pleiadians healers?
Are blue avians healers? Is that the question?
Yes.
Blue avians are healers. All species have healing in them to some extent. Depends on your atmosphere that you grew up in also, and it depends on how far away from planet living that you have to go. There is, we can hear you.
Mute it,
There
Karen.
is a song.
I am muted. I am muted.
No, you're not.
Really? That's so weird. Sorry about that. I was sorry for that. Okay.
What? Okay. Can I continue?
Yes. Let me tell you this.
Yes.
Usually the planet is what gives you your healing energy. The electromagnetic field is partially responsible for the healing energy in humans. The magnetic fields or fields around other planets can give the individuals that live on that planet their healing abilities, because there are all kinds of fields that different species live in, and we had our own kind of field that we did live in, and it did enhance our healing abilities. Now we are able to enhance our healing abilities through technology as well, just like the Yahyel and many other species are able to do. But it is natural to most species. But there are many species now that live in space and do not live on a planet. And so their natural healing ability is diminished, but it does not go away. It is part of their heritage, if you will. It is part of how they came into being, but they continue to evolve as they live in different atmospheres. So as you live in an atmosphere in a ship, that is a different kind of atmosphere to evolve in, especially if you've lived in these atmospheres for hundreds of years. And some species have taken to space and are nomadic. So they are evolving without the influence of a gravitational field or things of that nature.
Do I have any connection to blue avians?
To Pleiadians?
To blue avians?
Blue avians, yes. There is some connection, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not recent. It's a
ancient.
Rather ancient connection, yes.
Yeah, ancient, yes. Can they assist me in the healing for the military?
They have already started to do that, yes.
All right, because then I will call them.
All the beings that you call on do assist you. And you call on many of them in your area.
Right, wonderful, thank you.
Yes, many people, you call on many different species actually to help you with your healing. And we absolutely do.
That's wonderful, because I think the birdies, are the birdies military types, the blue avians, or rather meditation Arcturian types?
I see. Very good.
Are they?
Yes.
Okay. That was the question. Are the blue avians military types, or rather?
Oh, are we military types? Not anymore. There was a point when we did do a great deal of strategic work, and that's why we were put in charge of some of the strategic aspects of working with your solar system. We did have a great amount of strategic ability. Being a very visual species helps with strategy. It really does. Think about that. And so, yes, at one time we were very, very good at strategy.
Because
we are still good at it, but we just do not use it in the same way.
Okay, wonderful. So you are perfect to assist me for the military healing, and I thank you, all of you who will be assisting me in the future. Thank you very much.
You are welcome. Thank you.
Okay, Ava has a question.
Greetings. My question is, I seem to have enormous love and appreciation for birds, as well as I seem to be truly admiring the blue avian species. Is there any reason for that? To have a connection?
Right now, yes. Right now, the birds on Earth are communicating with the human species. They are messengers. I do not know how many people are aware that if there's a lot of birds singing in your area, they're communicating something very positive to you. This may not be understood immediately. It will go to the subconscious, what they are trying to say, but it is a positive message for you. Blue avians are part of a bird species, so we will be part of that transference of information through those birds to you. We have messages that we give to your birds, and that will be communicated through them, because we are we feel that that is the best and most generic way to bring information to the planet, and for less confrontation, which is good, because in order to confront humans, we usually would have to do it this way or be there in person, and we really can't do that. So we do that. And your connection to birds through the blue avians and that kind of thing is that you do have some connections with us as well. You were a blue avian centuries ago, but nothing recent. But you do love the birds because they are bringing you some information.
Yes, it seems like that they are communicating with me. I thought it was the Mother Earth giving me messages. I did not know that other beings too. So thank you so much for this information.
You're welcome.
Much love.
You're welcome. Much love.
Okay. Okay. Michelle has a question from the chat.
Correct.
Actually, there's two questions. One is a question from Liney, and I'll start with hers, and it says, if possible, was Horus in Egypt the same time as she was? Also, are you coming back to Earth at some point?
Yes, we were in Egypt at the same time, and no, I'm not coming back to Earth anytime soon. I'm going to other places, but for now, I'm just an advisor to Earth from the spirit realm.
Okay, and then there's a question from Michelle saying, would you say you're a healer? I think you answered that a little bit.
Yes, we are healers to some extent, but that is not our main function. We are a loving species at this point. We were actually, as one person asked us, sort of military at one point, but only because we had to be defensive.
Okay.
And we were very strategic and able to take care of that situation rather quickly. But some would say it's not quickly to have an 80 Earth year war, but for us that was a rather quick solution, and we haven't had war since.
Okay, Michelle's asking for healing body, mind, and spirit. If you can send it her way. Also,
yeah.
To follow up, there's a question from Temple about healing, saying, do you have a mantra, or do you recommend for healing and light? What is your favorite way to help heal?
My favorite way to help heal is actually through the birds on your planet. But let me say this. Each individual is so unique on your planet that one mantra will not cover it. I see that one mantra would help this group, one mantra would help this group, and one mantra would help that group. Because you identify differently one to another. You identify differently to us. You identify differently to all things. And there are so many different cultures, belief systems, and things of that nature on your planet that one mantra would not do it. But we are sending healing energy through to the planet, and this is much more beneficial. A mantra just would not make it. It would only be beneficial for a particular group. So we are sending groups energy through to your planet to sustain the light, sustain the love energy that is there, and to bring about the changes that are necessary. We have the abilities to send those picturesque thoughts into human minds as well, for those that are able to accept them, for those that are able to be a receptacle for them.
Okay, thank you. There's also a question from Elga saying, how can she call to you? She says she feels great love for you.
If you use my name, will I not come? Yes, I will come if you call.
Okay.
You will feel my energy. I am rather a strong entity.
Perfect. Krellick asks, is there an owl-like species in this galaxy? And if so, can you say who they are?
There is species of all kinds in the universes. I can say universes because I know of more than one. But there are owl beings, there are tree beings, there are bush beings, there are all kinds of beings. Depending on the atmosphere and how things in that particular world evolves, and what kinds of things are in abundance on each of these planets, different species can rise up to be intellectual beings. So yes, there is an owl species. It is far, far from here, but they are called the Kev.
The Kev, okay. And then Christine has a question.
Christine.
Greetings and blessings. Since this conversation started, I have the cats surrounding me, as well as the birds. I mean, as well as the dogs. But what I was going to ask is, usually I'm on the computer that's in front of the bird cage, my bird cage where I have parakeets.
Yes.
And when you came in, they were just chirp and chirp and chirp and chirp and making a lot of noise.
Yes, they can identify with avian energy.
And,
but also, so do your cats and dogs identify with avian energy because there is much avian energy on your planet. And therefore, the cats, dogs, and birds will identify with this kind of energy in some way. And it will be comforting to them in a very interesting way. Even though it's an alien avian energy, it's still one that they can recognize.
The like Deb had written, I put a lot of bird feeders around my backyard.
Yes.
And I was wondering, I have one dog that goes bananas and barks, does this, he's the guardian of the backyard, and he goes all the way around the backyard, and he barks at, I don't know what. I go out there and I try to look for what he's barking at, and all I see is birds. Is there something else that he's barking at? Do you know?
Yes.
What?
There are those around you. He is very in tune to all the different things that are happening in the third dimensional realm. Even those things that are not being able to be understood or heard by humans. He can hear the other species that are around. And he barks at them, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. He's wagging his tail at the same time. But he is the protector, and he is letting him know that. He is letting all of them know that he can hear them. He knows they're there. And they are not afraid of him. But they actually find him as a rather comforting source of information, because he's just telling them, I'm here. I know that you're here.
Okay. Thank you very much. I was
You're
worried.
welcome. He's very happy about them, actually. He likes them. They have positive energy.
Yeah, that's the tone of his bark until the cat on the other side is staring at him through the slats. Then he goes berserk, really berserk.
Well, yes. He doesn't like being looked at that way.
No. Thank you so much, and much blessings to you.
Much blessings. No one would want to be looked at that way.
Okay, hi. There's a question from Jess. It says, can you please connect to her blue avian aspect named Rafat? And are there any messages from her?
Rafat?
Yes, R-E-F-A-T. Yes.
The message is that your energy fluctuates recently, and they want you to become much stronger and more consistent with that. And I think that you understand what that is. I think there's some third dimensional things that cause you to go up and down. But they want you to remain very positive in the new year, because the energies that are coming to you are going to help you a great deal. And your mission is very interesting and very healing. You have a healing energy that's very strong. So your healing energy is amazing, actually. I think that you should be using it a lot more.
Thank you for that. That's the last question that we have on our side.
Just one more question. Are you working as a spirit guide to anyone right now on the planet?
The question is, am I working as a spirit guide to anyone on the planet? I do talk to many humans as a spirit guide, but I am not with just one. I am with many, because many need to hear certain things at certain times. And that is what I said earlier. I am more of a consultant to your planet than I am anything else. I do come and give information when necessary, as I am doing right now. The biggest message we have for you is that we are sending our energy to your planet for your ascension, for your light, for your continuation. It will not fail at this point. However, be on guard that those that do not want the ascension to move quickly will try to slow it down. Those that do not want the light to shine brightly will try to dim it down. We are here to make it bright. We are here to keep it bright. So do not let your light get faded. Do not let your energy go down to the point where people have to use, other people have to use their energy to pull you up, because this affects the movement forward of the ascension. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Now, there are times of sorrow. Absolutely. There are times when things happen that cause sorrow and sadness. But remember to pull through them quickly, because you can, if you are part of the light in a very strong way, you can pull through these things, understand them, and get through them much quicker than it would be if you just let them pull you down and stay there. Do not stay in the darkness. Do not stay in the sorrow. Do not stay in the negativity. But let yourself move forward through it as quickly as possible. This is a lesson that many humans must learn, because there are some of you out there that get depressed and you just stay there for long periods of time. And this is very detrimental to you and to the ascension. But let the light pull you forward. Let it get you through this, so that you can know that it's going to be all right. You see, a lot of times these depressions that you stay in are very selfish. It's all about you. It's about, oh, I feel so bad because of it. This hurt me. This was something that I did that is all about me. Don't let it be so much about you that you let it bring you into a funk for a long period of time. But let it pull you out and be about others. Let yourself think about others as well. How is this affecting others? Can I help others? Can I get through to others in a positive way? Can I pull myself out of this and teach a lesson to someone else on how to get through this negativity more quickly? These are the kinds of things you should be thinking about.
May I ask a question?
Yes, there was a question in the room. Yes.
Greetings to you.
Greetings.
I think you might be able to help me with this question.
Yes.
I have had what we call a close encounter of the third kind.
Of course.
I have been told I'm a repeat contactee.
Okay.
And I wonder, is there one particular species that has been in contact with me or more?
There has been several, but there is one particular species that comes to you more often. Do you know which one that is?
Would they be Pleiadians?
Yes, that would be. Let me explain why. There is a lot of Pleiadians on the earth being born into this earth as humans. They are here as volunteers to help the ascension, to help the evolution of the planet. There is an evolution of the planet coming, of mankind. The next step of evolution is empathy and telepathy. Now, it will start as empathy, but move into telepathy. You already have these things. You already understand the empathy and the telepathy. The Pleiadians are working with you so that you may find a greater use for it on this planet and use it to bring the light into a greater brightness in this realm. But they're also giving you a lot of information. And this information is going out through, you are like a beacon. You are sending out information into the world. Are you aware of that?
I guess I really wasn't.
You are sending information out into the world through telepathic energies, and they are being received through different areas of higher functioning telepaths around the world, especially the Pleiadians that are here to help. And that is why the Pleiadians are coming to you mostly. Arcturians are coming, Yahyel are coming, the Greys are coming. There are many, but the Pleiadians have a message for their own people, and you are sending that out to them.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I have a question.
Yes. There is someone else has a question in the room.
Very good.
Hi there.
Greetings.
My dog, Boone, he cannot crawl up on the steps to get in bed, so I pick him up every night to take him to bed. Can you tell me why he growls at me when I pick him up to put him on the bed?
It's a little bit painful. It's a little bit painful when you pick him up. You have to pick him up in he growls at you because he goes, although he wants to get in bed, it's like, oh, that hurts. So he's letting you know that there is some pain when you're doing that, because he's old and he's delicate. So that is all he's saying. It's not that
pick him up without hurting him?
if you put him on, I'm not sure. But I was saying a towel.
You can make a ramp for him.
Make a wrap for him and
Ramp.
Ramp, yes, or a ramp, yes, or
He can
stair.
walk up it.
He has stairs, but he won't crawl up.
Yes, he has stairs, but he won't crawl up them. He needs something more. He's getting to that age where he's decrepit, and he's needing your greatest sensitivity.
Or maybe I should get an escalator or something.
An escalator, a scissor lift, yes. Perhaps. But anyways, I don't know. Do they make scissor lifts for dolls? I don't know. But that's a funny idea.
What is about balloon?
Yeah, put some, oh no, that won't work either. That's a good thought though.
Temple has a question. Go ahead, Temple.
Yes.
Good morning, Horace.
Greetings.
I wanted to say blessings and hello.
Hello.
And I have a question. A lot of us are realizing that we were involved either voluntarily or non-voluntarily in the super soldier programs. And I'm wondering if there is something that you could just shed light on. Like, there obviously has to be a reason that groups of us are sort of figuring this out together. And what is the long run application of this? How are we supposed to turn it around and use it to teach, or is there a reason that we were involved in programs like this?
There's the super soldier program is outlawed at this time. They are not allowed to take any more people. The ones that they have already taken are part of the program and cannot be taken out of the program. But they are not allowed to bring any more people into the program. This super soldier program trains you in the astral to be a fighter, and they are bringing in troops from your world to fight their battles. And this is really not the right thing to do. And you are very highly trained in the astral to be a soldier and how to withstand many things. And there are only certain people that they select for super soldier programs because they are agile, they are intelligent, they train quickly, they are quick to understand strategy and battle maneuvers. And yes, there's a reason why you are understanding each other at this time, is because you must be aware of each other so that you can keep each other from going to these programs. Now, what I mean by that is you can stop each other from going into battle. And that is why you're getting to know each other in the third dimension, is to stop each other from going to this battle that you really don't have to fight. It is not your war. It is another species' war, and they have trained you to fight their war, and it is not something that you want to do.
So essentially, the more recognition that we have in 3D here, the more we can like sort of spread the light and fight, so we can put a stop to them using others in this situation.
Your training will remain in the astral. You will always be, in their opinion, a super soldier. But
Sure.
you do not have to fight the battles. It is not your battle to fight. You can stop each other from going.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome. Does that make sense to you?
Oh yeah, totally.
Good. Because you were trained in the astral without your knowing it at some point to be a soldier and sent to battle. And some of you have gotten injuries from these battles and need to be healed. But no, I think there was only one fatality. And when you die in these super soldier situations, you die in the physical.
Oh wow. I had one more question. Okay, apparently the question is gone at the moment.
If you remember it, let me know.
So, okay, thank you.
You are welcome.
Okay, I have some questions from in the chat.
Very well.
Tracy Q says, why do I have such a calling to Egypt and the pyramids? It has become stronger and stronger since my awakening.
There are many of you that are here from that era, the eras of Egyptian culture. That culture was very strong and had great attachments to incredible energies. And that is why many people are being called to that area at this time. The energies of the past are still there in great multitude. So many are being called to Egypt, to Machu Picchu, to the Aztec cultures, to Stonehenge, to many places that have alien influences that were very, very strong. Yes,
Okay.
I have no doubt. Many are being called more to South America now than ever before, and more to Egypt than ever before, and more to Stonehenge than ever before. They've even blocked Stonehenge off. You can no longer walk under the stones. The energy is so strong there. They have blocked off the Stonehenge area to tourists more than it was before.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Perfect. Also, Anna White's question is, does Horus know what being visited her a few years ago and was sitting on my couch, telepathically communicating with her?
One moment. Let me connect to her, and could she see this individual?
I'm
Please write.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. If she can type it in the chat, then we can know. But I assume so. But
I see that she was talking to a large being. It was not a small being. It was larger than her. It was, and it had. She could see the outline in silhouette, but as it sat there, she saw it as a dark figure. But it was not negative. It was a. It is not identifying itself, but it is a positive being. I believe that it was a blue a blue Pleiadian, one of the taller blue Pleiadians. I believe so.
and then there's a question from Elga, and she wants to know what percentage are we in our planetary light in the ascension?
It depends on what part of the world you look at. But if you look at the world as a whole, the ascension is still very young. It's still in infant stages. Remember, it only started at the end of 2012, and this is the beginning of 2019.
Right.
Remember that it is growing stronger and stronger all the time, but it is still weak, but it is strong enough to always continue without any doubt that it will continue. We know that it is going to keep going. The fire has been lit and it will continue to burn.
Perfect.
But it is very small. Maybe about 6 to 7%. But remember this, every year the light gets brighter, and now it's starting to get brighter faster.
Yes, thank you. Temple remembers her question. Go ahead, Temple.
Okay, I wrote it down this time so I wouldn't forget it. So I was told that they, going back to the SS program, that they have to ask creator beings for their consent to be in the program. I would like to know if that's true. And then also I was told that I took myself out of the program. Can you just take yourself out of the program like that? Or does that mean just
you can take yourself out of the program if you become aware of it. You do have free will to do that. Now, they will ask creator beings permission, but they do it in the astral. They're very tricky about it, and they make it seem much more innocent than it really is. So some may agree to do so because they believe that it is for a very positive cause, a very good thing, and all those things. But once you realize what it's really about, then you probably pulled yourself out.
Okay,
and that is before you became part of the battle. Once you are sent into battle, that's it. You're a part of it. But you can pull out before you become full-fledged soldier.
So if I would know someone who is currently in battle or has been in battle, is there a way to help them get out?
To refuse to go.
Okay, so I guess can you explain that further? What you mean when you start the battle, then you can't go out versus?
Well, once you start the battle, you can't pull out from being a soldier. You are a full-fledged soldier. You cannot ever not be a full-fledged soldier. But you can pull out of the program before you become a full-fledged soldier and not be considered a super soldier at that point.
I see.
But those that go into battle are considered full-fledged soldiers, but you can refuse to go. You do have that free will.
So I have one more question. Does this sort of correlate when people will say, oh, well, you weren't really born here on Earth. You were born on a ship. Does that mean that more than likely, instead of being born on like a galactic family type ship, that you were born on a ship involved in the governmental programs, that you were like test tube babies?
It is possible. There are very few of those around because most of those did not survive beyond their 14th year. Those that did survive were put in programs through adoption.
So am I one of those, or how does that incorporate with my situation of being told that I was born on a ship? I guess I'm wondering if, because I have another friend in this chat who's also supposedly born on the same ship, were we actually born on an alien ship, or were we born on the governmental ship?
It was a governmental ship. It was not an alien ship. There are very few of you that survived and are able to continue to survive without major defects in mental abilities. So you are fortunate that you have made it this far if you were actually born on a ship. And it would be a government ship and not an alien ship. It would be part of the secret space program, and it would be that you were born in the off the shore of San Diego.
Okay, are you able to just double check that for me quick, if I was actually born on a ship?
One moment. They're blocking that information, but I can see that the reason they are is because it's probably true.
Yeah, okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. This really helps shed light on a lot of stuff.
Very good.
Okay, Christine has a question. Go ahead, Christine.
Greetings again, Horace. I was wondering, I have a flight cage for my birds.
Yes.
And I now only have 3. 2 of them are very young. And I was wondering if I added 2 more to their flock, to their group, would they find that difficult to...
It depends. Just like human beings and any other species, they all have their own personalities. And if you put the wrong personalities together, there will be problems. But if you put the right personalities together, there will be harmony and beautiful peace. You must actually check it out. Put them in there for a day, and if there's harmony and peace, then you have a good match. If there is not, then you do not. But remember this.
Yes.
There are certain birds that will try to kill other birds for dominance. So be very mindful of what they're doing that first couple days.
Well, right now they're all hens. As far
They're all
as
what?
They're all female.
Oh, well, that's much better. But, you know, there's also dominant females.
Oh, yeah. That's why I was thinking of adding 2 more so that this young whippersnapper doesn't beat up on the others.
Oh, is that happening?
Yeah, she's
just as I said, personalities. Personalities, they show through even in every animal species. There are dominant and there are docile, there are dominant, there are aggressive, there are non-aggressive, there are happy, there are sad. There are ones that need a birdie psychiatrist, and there are ones that do not.
Okay, so I'm trying to do the birdie psychologist thing here. Is there a way I can chit-chat with her and tell her to not be so aggressive, or put in different toys, maybe balance, change toys that make the environment more stimulating?
Is there one particular other bird that she attacks more than the others?
Yeah, blue. And I'm trying to figure out if it's because she has romantic feelings to her, or
blue is more beautiful, so she will try to get rid of the prettiest.
Well, really, she's yellow. And then I have,
and she likes blue better, and so she thinks in order for her to look prettier, she'll get rid of the blue one.
So I have 2 blues, so she's going to pick them off one by one.
Well, one of them is prettier than the other in her eyes.
Oh, dear.
It makes perfect sense. Jealousy among women.
So if I added 1 male in there, one male.
That might be a problem, but you can check it out. Then they are all going to try to be pretty for him.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, but once I buy them or once I purchase them, I don't have the room to add more cages.
Yeah.
Oh, darn. Okay. I'll have to come back and ask you more therapeutic questions, about what I can do about this.
Although I'm a bird, I do not know the IQs or thought processes of your birdies.
Oh. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Christine. We're up at the top of the hour. We have time for 1 or 2 more questions. If we have anyone else. Marlene didn't ask any questions. Do you have any questions, Marlene?
No, thank you. Thank you for asking. I've been I'm
I'm
listening
just
to all
trying
these
to-
beautiful questions and answers. Thank you very much.
Okay, David didn't ask any questions. David.
There is
or
another
David?
question in the room.
All right, go ahead.
About what China found about the moon. Is there anything that you can say about that?
They're encountering she is talking about the Chinese people have landed a vessel on the dark side of the moon. Is anyone aware of that?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, they are going to be encountering some very interesting things there. I do not know if they will release what they find, but there are many species on the dark side of the moon. And they are looking through the moon, using it as an observatory to watch the different things that are happening on the planet, your planet. Yes. There's a question here as well.
Now, my understanding regarding the moon is kind of like a big spaceship or vessel.
No.
It's not. So
No, it's a natural, I know there is many speculations about the moon, but it is a natural, it is a natural moon, just like moons from other planets. It just has been used and hollowed out in some places for alien use. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I don't have any questions anymore on our side. So.
Very well.
I have a quick question.
There is a quick question. Every time you say that, there's a question.
Yeah.
I know. I think maybe I just say that and see what happens.
Hello.
I've always had a great connection with birds, and when I was younger, I took care of a whole bird room, and
Yeah.
I got a pretty serious illness and a really high fever. I was very, very sick. Was that fever almost a gift for my awakening?
It could be.
Okay.
The birds have different bacteria and can make humans very sick. However, it's funny that some of these people that had bird flus or whatever you want to call them had different kinds of experiences afterwards. And they were somewhat of awakenings because they did stir the system in a different way than other bacteria does.
Thank you.
Which is interesting. I don't know if it was designed that way or not, but it is what it is.
Okay. Leela has a question.
The last question maybe. If you could connect to Max Pierce, he is in spirit, super soldier, if he could give us some final thoughts or advice or for us humans here.
His name is what?
Max Pierce.
Max Pierce?
He's super soldier in spirit.
Okay, very well. I will connect to him and see if he has any words.
Thank you.
He is in spirit?
Yes, he's dead.
You said Mark, not Max, right?
Oh,
Max. Max.
Max. Okay,
Max
Max.
Pierce.
Okay.
Max Steele.
All right, I will connect to him. One moment. Well, for one thing, he says he is glad there is no more being initiated into the program. But he says he warns those that are still in the program not to be fooled into fighting other people's battles. But he also says that he was strangely happy to do what he did because he believed in the cause of the those that he was fighting for. He became comrades with those that were he was one of the very first. He became comrades with them and really liked them. But he said, at this point, things have changed. It's a much different battle and war than it was when he first started. So do not let yourself be pulled into it.
Thank you. All right, we've reached the top of the hour. We have about a minute left.
Does somebody want to do a prayer?
I think Barbara wanted to do something.
And I will leave for now.
Thank you very much, Horace. Much love to you. Thank you for being with us.
Kia wa ushin nia titara. Anjiku wahua aka. Kanjashisha. Greetings and blessings.
Welcome
Hello?
back. Hello. Thank you.
Oh,
We're
you're doing a blessing. Okay.
We've got Barbara and then Temple and then David doing
Okay.
blessings. Okay.
Barbara first. Okay, very good. See the beauty in all things, for there is a beauty in everything that you can find. For God has made a way to come through and change what is not so beautiful to something beautiful. All the things that are around us can be seen in one light or another. Make sure you are being as positive as possible to bring the greatest amount of light to the world as can be given.
Thank you. Go ahead, Temple.
Noshoto sai holak bo gjniata zaga anati. Duzugo jubo jana asata hukupu shututu nasiata. Ubula ana shua janeti zoata. Ra kupo na I wa I kwa maju. Ka yazita tiono ta ana hakalasi. Bujuti satatayono. Oso motoyala kuona sitiasha. Kapia umuji idiata. Nisitiata hua. Mushutu kusho ana zazi koloja ana. Didiata hupiatia. Hupujunatiziata na hasa ua nua I uona tayana. Pushiatiasana. Namaste.
I give each and every one of you an individual blessing, an individual energy from the sky. Let God now smile upon you in a way that is different than any other time in your life. Acknowledge him for his greatness, his beauty, and his power, for his love is everlasting and powerful in your realm. You are a holder of this great power, a holder of this great love, a holder of this great energy, and you must spread it around so that all will see, all will know, and all will be comforted by the love of God and the knowledge that there are those that will continue to spread what is eternal and beautiful within the realms of darkness and grayness. And the time is now for all of you to rise up and be the example that God wants you to be in this realm.
Thank you. Go ahead, David.
Hello, everybody. Brokuana shaunda naleweyanza hashia. Vegonai nashia daunda nagoe naya washanda. Ewa fanzi shandai onza hash neoka. Andu hana shavenai. E sandu abre kunjara. Ana shavea nasiwa. Bashunda naraya.
Set yourself and be steadfast to do that which is good and right. You know right from wrong deep within. No one needs to tell you the difference between right and wrong because you sense it, you know it, and it is part of who you are because God created you as a spiritual being. Now, go forth and be a beacon of light, just like was said before, and the light will be your guide as well. You are a path that is a light for others. And now that we have spoken about the light as much as we have, we want you to know that there are so many out here giving you energy to become what is necessary in this realm.
Thank you. Thank you for that. So just before we go, just one more time, if you can please again tell about the class coming up next week.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
The Galactic Healing Energy class for teachers is coming up on the 12th and 13th on Saturday and Sunday from 4 to 7 p.m. Saturday and Sunday. It's $111 for those of you who have already taken the first two classes, the spirals and non-spirals. And it's going to be a really great time. We already have, I think, 8 or 9 people signed up for it. And it's 4 to 7 p.m. And to sign up for the class, you have to get in touch with Angela. What's your email?
aspeed6456.
aspeed6456@gmail.com. And she will get the money and make sure that you get the manual. The manual is 30 pages long, so you will definitely want that because it will be a wonderful reference for you for the attunements, for the symbols, for all the different things you might want to reference. Any questions?
Is there going to be a breathing technique in that class too?
There is a couple added things for the advanced class. a breathing technique, yes. A couple other things, yes.
Yeah, really.
Okay, perfect. All right, and then also too, just to remind everybody, every Friday is the practice channeling group. That's with Ian. You can go to the Facebook group and you can look for the notification of the free channeling practice group. And one more time, we have next week Dante Singh will be back with us channeling. So we'll have a special guest, Dante Singh, next week on the 12th of January.
Has Rob Gauthier rescheduled yet?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm waiting. He's got a lot of things going with his stuff. So hopefully.
Yeah, I know his son is, and they're pregnant now, so it's really. Kalina is pregnant, so that's another thing. So wow.
Always, yeah. So we're waiting for confirmation. It may be later rather than sooner, but he promised he'd be back. So we'll just wait for him to find a good moment, and it will probably be on a Friday, like before.
All right.
So
very good.
All right. So everyone, we'll see you next week. Much love to you, and namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye bye.